being honest. Nothing but the truth, yeah. Nothing but the truth, yeah. Honesty, CJ, honesty. CJ, honesty, CJ, honesty. CJ, honesty. Just being honest, nothing but the truth.
Welcome to another episode of
CJ Honesty. And today we have our guests, Kyle and Nikita. They have been friends since 2006, and they've been in a relationship for 2 years. And they also started a music group called SKYNS. This is their first time on a podcast?
Yeah, it's our first interview at all, really.
Yeah.
Together.
Wow.
So it's fun. This is exciting.
Yes, we're excited for you guys to be on our podcast, and we were both looking forward to this conversation. Definitely. So yeah, let's get it started.
Definitely. I need to know how and when did you guys first meet?
Well, I'm gonna tell this story because she don't even remember. She don't even remember when we first met. So
no,
let's set the scene for you.
Go ahead.
I was a freshman in college. And I'm going to my first open mic night. You know, I'm excited trying to figure out how the college is going to be. And I see this girl on stage and she's spitting fire poetry bars. Just like, I was like, ooh. She's there. So like, you know, I sit down and she's coming off the stage and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna say hi. I'm gonna like talk to her. I'm gonna see what's going on. So I say, hey, you know, I was really good. I really like what you did up there. And he was like, thanks, and just kept walking.
She is pay you no mind.
You know, so like, I didn't see her for really like the rest of that year. We didn't be like, I saw you. Semester, year.
Yeah, the semester.
I didn't see her for a long time, and I was actually like looking for her. I was like asking friends and people. I was like, so what's up with her? What's the deal? Like, you know, she got a dude. Is she single? I was hearing different things. I was hearing that
lies he was hearing.
She had some rich dude off campus that was her guy. That's what I heard. This is what I heard. So I was like, oh, all right, well, you know, me being a college freshman, I was like, well, can't compete with that. And I was like, that makes sense. She seemed real mature. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it seemed like she would have that. But then later, I feel like it was the next year when I moved into North Point when we really like became friends.
Yeah, I think, because I don't have an exact memory of like the first time we met, but I do know that he used to hang out with John, who was in an organization that I was in. He was also on the e-board as well. So he would like come to meetings with John sometimes. And
yeah, I would just pop in.
He would just, that was his.
I was an unofficial member. I was at like a lot of those meetings and they kept trying to get me to sign up, but I was like, I don't got time because I was starting. They didn't have a film club there, so me and John were starting a film club. But I was also a Division I basketball player, and if you know any athletes in college, that's like a full-time job. Like our schedule was crazy, so I felt like I couldn't sign up for that group, but I probably could have because I was at every meeting. Yes. I was just in there and just hanging out. So, but
we really started like late night talking. I'd be in a common area like studying or whatever the case may be, and he'd come by and we'd just start talking, and before you know it was like 3 or 4 hours already passed and we were still in there talking. So we had like a really cool friendship. You know, he would tell me about all his girl troubles without mentioning any names. So I knew about situations, but I didn't know any names or whatever. And, you know, asked me like what he should do and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's like, I called her Young Therapy.
Right.
I was like,
yeah.
The whole time though, I liked her. But I felt like, you know, I felt like she was out. She was gone. Like I couldn't get, you know. So I was just like, oh, well, we'll be friends then. So that's how that happened. Yeah. That's how we met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you guys started dating in 2019?
Yeah, so, you know, flash forward more than a decade.
Yeah, because what happened was he actually transferred from our school and went somewhere else. I didn't know that he was leaving, and
she got mad at me.
I felt a type of way about it, that he didn't say anything.
I didn't know. So all right, so the way I transferred, there's a whole thing with the whole college basketball situation, and they wanted me to cut my hair. There's this whole story that I'm not gonna go into the whole thing, but I ended up, when I found that out, I decided I was gonna leave in the middle of the year. So it was like we had just come back from a trip from West Virginia, and I was like, I'm transferring. So I just kind of left, and it was like actually over Christmas break, so nobody was on campus. Right. There wasn't any classes. So the next semester I was just kind of gone.
Right.
And I didn't get a chance to say anything. So, I still have this, you can still look on our Facebook messages of where she was mad at me.
But we kind of lost contact all that time until
because you didn't answer my messages
until 2017. And he was just reaching out to me because at the time I was making jewelry, had a jewelry business, and he wanted me to do some pieces for his sister and stuff like that. But my life was kind of unstable at the time because it was back and forth between Barbados and here, taking care of my grandparents and stuff. So I couldn't actually follow through.
Essentially, she ghosted me again. That's what I didn't know why. So I told my sister, I'm like, oh, there's a girl I know does jewelry. It'd be cool. You got some custom jewelry. You could feature a brand. And I was like, so we were talking, and all of a sudden she just disappeared. We never got no jewelry. I don't know what happened. She was gone. And I was like, dang, again?
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to leave and go back to Barbados. But yeah, since then, we kind of kept in communication off and on. And then in 2018.
Right. So I had a long 5-year relationship from 2012 to 2017, early 2018. And after that ended, I didn't know what I was doing in terms of I was like, I'm not trying to do nothing. I was just trying to, and I had seen her on Instagram, and I just saw some of her posts, and I was like, hey, how's life? I was doing the Voodoo Man series, which was I was people talking about Black issues, and I knew she had a very unique perspective just from us talking years ago. And I was looking for somebody that could provide an experience from the Caribbean perspective, because it's a bit different than African and the African American experience. So I was like, she's intelligent, she could represent that well. So that's really initially why I reached out and looked up. I was like, and then I was looking at her pictures, and I was like, I wonder what's going on there. So so I messaged her, and it just so happened that she was back stateside, and so we just started talking, and we just kind of rekindled the friendship first. And she was not really open or looking for a relationship.
I wasn't. My life was not set up at a time to entertain any intimate anything. I was primary caregiver to 2 elderly people, and I was in Massachusetts. I wasn't anywhere near Jersey. I was like, this is not, I don't have the time. So if if it's something more that you're looking for, I can't. I don't have the energy, the bandwidth right now, none of it. So we just stayed friends.
Yeah, but I liked her. I was like, yeah, we'll figure it out. That was my whole thing.
Yeah, that was his approach.
So, we stayed in contact, and we, it just kind of evolved. And then we finally had a weekend where we could meet up, and she needed to relax. We did a king spy. I'm so glad that we got because the timing is crazy. Because had it been in a pandemic, I don't know what would happen, because we had nothing to do.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, we did the king spy experience, and that was lit. And that was on, basically.
Yeah. And I guess that was our first date, really.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, it was
She's a lot
meaningful.
Slower to warm up.
Yes, I'm very slow to warm up. Okay, I'm cautious and take my time, because I have experience with rushing into things, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. So it was nice, because at the time, I really needed to relax, and I where it was in my life, I did not have the time or any energy, and it was kind of cool that he listened and paid attention, and planned that date so that I could get time to relax, and it was cool. It was cool. I really appreciated it. So yeah.
But she did. I'm not a date planner, as anyone else will tell you. But I was like, we gonna pull out the stops for this. So I was, I've always listened. I think it's important if you're talking to somebody, whether it's a friend. In most of my relationships with people in general, I try to listen and be present. But if I'm not, you can have that conversation about resources, like on a date, like how much money should you spend? I'm not big into that. And I got to know if I like you. But I knew I liked her, so I was like, all right, even though this is our first official date, I've had so much conversation with her, so much time on the phone, so much previous time in college that I knew that it wasn't, I was willing to put that out there and give her a great experience and have that be a place for her to relax. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Wow. So do you want to share our story too? It's similar a little bit. Yeah. So our story is similar to you guys because we actually met each other 7 to 8 years ago.
Yeah.
This was when I was in college. You was in college too, right?
Yeah, I was at trade school, yeah.
Yeah, so we met through mutual friends. And during that time, we went to our first time we met, we had a date night. It was a couple's date night, and they invited us to the bowling alley.
Yeah.
And at the time, okay, so if you know me now, I'm more like social and outspoken and all that. But back then I was shy. So I didn't really speak. I didn't really talk a lot. And you was shy too. You was quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So excuse me. So we played, bowling. But then my friend, so it's crazy because my friend was dating his best friend. Mm-hmm. And that's how we met. And then she told me, oh yeah, John has a crush on you. Like later on though. And I was like, oh, okay. And he reached out to me. Right?
Yeah.
Hey John, how'd you find out? Did you tell her like, yo, could you give her the message? You give her like one of those like yo, tell your friend I said what's up. Did you how'd she find out?
Man, you know what it was? So we went bowling.
Yeah.
And you leaving that part out. So we went bowling.
What did I leave out?
And then the next weekend that was with them, right? With our mutual friends.
Yeah, with bowling.
And then again we went out with them the next weekend to Fridays. And
we went out to eat.
Yeah, it was Fridays.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just remember bowling. I specifically remember the bowling.
You see how they do it? They just be forgetting things. They just
yeah. we went to Fridays, and then after that, I asked you if you wanted to go to
movies?
No, it was the mall. I think I was going to the mall anyways, and I was like, I guess it would be cool if I just asked to go to the mall anyways. And she was like, at first, I don't even think she texted me back. First,
I text or was it messaging online?
No, it was text.
It was text.
Yeah. It was
text. And I didn't respond.
No.
Oh, I was rude.
Maybe like 2 hours later, you did.
Oh wow, I was so rude. Yeah, I was kind of rude to some guys.
Yeah. So after that, I've never been the kind of guy that like, just if I don't feel like you feeling me, like I can't do it. Like, so I didn't really chase like that after that. And then I think it was like two or 3 years later?
Well, last year actually we reconnected, right?
Yeah, but in between.
Oh, in between. Time. Well, his best friend and my friend got married. So that's how we still kind of seen each other at events. So, and you're the godfather of my friend's son. Mm-hmm. So I would see him here and there.
Yeah.
And then my friend would like mention about him, be like, oh yeah, John still like feeling you. I'm like, yeah, okay. I was like, that's nice. Yeah. And then last year we reconnected. You reached out to me.
Yeah, I did. But actually this time it was on some, I just really actually wanted to know how she was doing because I think like 2 or 3 years had passed in between that time. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I even came upon you on your Instagram.
No, it was on Facebook.
Oh, Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook.
Okay, Facebook.
Yeah, I didn't have Instagram at the time.
Okay. I'm getting things off.
We talked. Okay, fast forward because I totally forgot about the going out to eat part.
Yeah.
Anyways, we reconnected last year, and then we started talking. I kind of got a little something, little thing with someone, but I got out of that, and then we started talking.
Yeah.
And then
we was talking for a long
we
time.
know
Like
we know each other because I actually
Okay.
knew his dad too, so I was familiar with him. So it's not like he was a stranger.
Oh, you skipped over that part.
I skip over. Wait, let me back it up. So yeah, how could I miss all these details? Okay, so I know his dad because his dad used to go to my old church, so that's how I knew him. And we actually met at our old church at when we were younger. So that's when we kind of this was before, so I skip out all that part. Yeah. So
how old was we? We was like 10 years old.
Yeah, we were like 10. So I knew right. We didn't talk like that. Yeah. We didn't talk when we were younger.
Our parents knew each other.
Yeah, our parents knew each other through like church and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
So we have a history. Like he popping up in my life, and I at the time I was just like dealing with other people.
Yeah,
and little did I know we were gonna end up here.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy because
you know what it is though too. Timing is really important, right? Like you can I met at the time I met her, that relationship would not have worked. Like I wasn't ready for a relationship. I don't know.
Neither of us were ready.
Yeah, I can't speak for you.
Well, I was definitely not ready.
Like
I mean, you meet people and you try things or whatever, but when you're in a certain relationship or whatever, you look back and you're like, I was just playing.
Yeah, I was wilding. I was wilding in college.
You was wilding.
Wilding in college.
Yeah, he was.
And yeah, so and she knows she was a witness. But it like I always liked her as a person, and we always kept in touch. And I think at the point in our lives where we met each other, we both needed each other. Like we fit together, and values that we had, because you got to learn some things. Like, from my perspective, I feel like it's important that you learn who you are. You try different things. You figure out what you don't like, what doesn't work for you. And then, you find a person and it fits, or, you realize that a person you were talking to or have met, like maybe that would work. Like, I think, the idea, I don't know about the idea of love at first sight, even though I liked you when I first saw you. I had to know her. You have to get to know somebody to love you.
And we really had time to really get to know each other this time around, because with me going back and forth to Barbados, after that first date in March, I left soon after that to go back to Barbados, and I ended up being there. I was only supposed to be there for like a month.
Right.
And I ended up being there for like 7 months.
Yeah, it was a long
till the end of the year. So that whole time we were like talking on WhatsApp, video calling and all that stuff, and really like getting to know each other, where we are now, who we are now, the things that click for us and all that. So yeah, we really got to like build that foundation over those 7 months being apart from each other, which for me was, I think it was good that we were able to do that.
She always says that.
Distance.
I always be like, I wish
because
you were closer.
I do think in some instances that closeness, being in proximity with each other, then you get that intimacy, sex comes up and all that stuff. And I find that sometimes sex can cloud your judgment and it can complicate things, right? And sometimes that also prevents you from building that solid foundation because of all the emotions that comes along with that attachment as well. So I think at least for me,
this is her philosophy.
Because at the time I was trying to be celibate as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
which I was not happy about.
I was
like, not happy. I already commend her for that. What?
I was like, I have to be celibate for a year, because for me that was a spiritual thing. Like I needed to be celibate for at least a year. And
I was like, no.
It ended up happening anyway, because I had to go to Barbados.
Yeah, I was like, dang. I was upset about this.
So it's like, and I had been ignoring that instruction for a long time to be celibate. And it was like, no matter what I did, it had to happen. And that allowed me to get to know him like, you know, on a completely transparent and friendship level, and build from there.
Which I was still not happy about.
Yeah.
Kyle was like, I was ready. Like, let's just.
I was like, what is this?
It was.
But also, that is, you know, I did find out, I was like, I really like her. So, you know, I was willing to just say, all right, I'll wait till you get back.
Right.
Oh, so you did wait. So you waited for her, but you ended up in a relationship for 5 years when she was away, right?
So I had been in a relationship, and then, you know, I was talking to a few different people and all that. But then once I started talking to her, and once we decided to, like, you know, meet up and see what was going to happen, I stopped talking to everybody else. And even though she said, you know, I know I'm far, she was saying, like,
yeah, because Bella was away in Barbados. I was like, look, I know that you have needs, you got itches that got to be scratched, whatever. Like, if you want to see other people, that's cool.
But I was like,
you want to date, that's cool. Like,
I didn't think so. For me, right? Like, I'm all about honesty and transparency. Like, that's how I operate. I've always operated like that. And I don't think it would be fair to, well, I mean, she would know, but it wouldn't be fair to whoever I was talking to, because I didn't really like them. I liked her. So they wouldn't be having a fair chance. So I was just like, you know, I'll just wait. And I also thought it was only going to be a month.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking,
only supposed to be a month,
I kept thinking it was going to be
extended.
ending.
Wow.
I was like, all right, what should be here next week? All right, 2 weeks later. All right, one more month.
Do you have like a different perspective on it now, Kyle? Now that you waited?
I hated it. I don't want it to happen ever again.
You're like, no, never again.
I got PTSD.
I think it I understand what she means though. Like, the connection was different, right? So like we were able to formulate a mature foundation and connection, minus all of the, you know,
the other distractions
rush.
It really, I think it was, the key really was just that we were able to nurture our communication, our skill and level of communication.
Right, which
right
that's
there.
all you can do.
Yeah.
All you could do when you're that far, you know, is communicate.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that, and we learned a lot about each other. And you know, I do think that was valuable. I mean, I think it was valuable. I just
He didn't like it.
Didn't like it.
Yeah, didn't like it, but yeah, it was worth it though, right? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we're here, and you know, so you know, the relationship is strong, the foundation is strong. You know, we are expecting. She has, you know, we have a kid on the way, so the family is growing. So it turned out to be great. But it's like, you know, that to me, it's like medicine. Like I don't want to take it. Sure, it made me feel better, but I don't want to take it. I don't want to drink that pink medicine. But so don't try to do that no more.
No more.
More.
She leaves, I'm gonna be there with her.
Right.
Together. So, but yeah, I mean, I understand what she means. I understand the value in it. I just don't. I just didn't enjoy it. Didn't like it.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
I mean,
the key. What I got from is your foundation that y'all built on was your communication is probably strong, because I mean it could have to be, and that's why I think a lot of, this is my opinion, maybe some people disagree, but I think a lot of couples lack in communication skills, and that's why people break up. But based on what you're saying, is the communication needs to be there.
Yeah. It's not easy by any means, because you have to also be transparent. You got to be vulnerable. You got to be honest. And, you know, it forced me to look at myself and see all the ways that, because like he said, I'm slow to warm up, and vulnerability, like I had walls, right? Like to protect myself kind of thing. And I being vulnerable, like I really have to feel emotionally safe with you in order to be vulnerable. And when I don't feel that, you're not getting all of me. So being able to feel safe with him to be honest about how I feel. And again, it's not always easy. It's still something that I work on. You know, if we have disagreements and stuff like that, I have to take time to process what I'm feeling. And then when I get to a place where I feel like emotionally safe, or I can get my words out and not, you know, stumble or whatever, process my emotions, then I can, you know, express myself.
Yeah, I function. My thing with communication is really just being honest, and it's difficult. That, I mean, it sounds simple, but it's really difficult because you have to be able to take stock of what it is you really want and what it is that you need. And self-reflection is difficult for most people. Yeah. And that's really where the problem is, right? Because a lot of times, and especially as guys, and especially as Black men, right, we haven't always learned how to emotionally navigate our feelings, like navigate what we're feeling and learn how to articulate that. So a lot of times we'll be feeling some way, but we might be afraid to say exactly what we're feeling. So we'll say something maybe adjacent to that, or something that masks what we're actually feeling. And that is not effective, because when you don't tell your partner what you want or what you need, then
they can't meet you.
They can't meet you there. They can't give it to you. Like, you know, if I'm upset, you know, if I'm upset with the, you know, lack of time we get to spend with each other, and instead of saying that, I say, why are you always going out all the time? Right? Like, that's a different conversation. She might have reasons why she's going out, and she might not know that what I'm really saying is, you know, I want you to spend more time with me. I want us to have more time together. So I think it's important to really ask yourself what it is that you want and why you feel that way, and then articulate that in a way that is, you know, somewhere that they can meet you. And that's kind of what, you know, we both do that pretty well. And you also got to learn how to talk to your partner, right? Because like she needs time sometimes to, like she said, she wants to figure out what she's feeling and take that time. And I'm more quickly to, like, if I feel something, I want to address it immediately.
Yeah.
That's probably the athlete in me. Like, everything's like, all right, let's get this done. It's like, all right, if this is how we feel, let's figure it out. But she needs more time. So I have to, you know, that's something that I've had to learn and had to work on, is trying to give her the space and the time to, you know, figure out how she wants to say it, figure out how she feels, and come to me when she's ready. And to trust that she's not going to just let it not address it, but that she has to do her own thing. And, you know, that's something that I had to work on. So, you know, there's a lot of just figuring out what they need and how you can meet them there, and presenting what you want in a way that they can meet it, and not just saying something. You know, people get addicted to drama, and that's one thing that I really love about her, is she's not trying to have no drama. Like, we're not about that life.
Not about anything toxic, right?
No.
Normalize that.
Only in a movie. Only drama I want is in a movie I'm watching. That's something.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
So, which one is more important to you, like connection or compatibility?
I really like that question, because it allows me to navigate what the words mean. So like compatibility, like how would you define compatibility? How would you define connection? So to me, right, connection is more important, especially in our relationship. We had a connection for years. We weren't compatible until, you know, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago. But the connection was always there. The connection is why when she had to go to Barbados for, you know, 7 months, I was willing to wait for her. That's what connection can do. Compatibility can shift, like, right? Like, you know, like you could be with a person and you have a strong connection, but, you know, maybe they get a job and they have to go away, or maybe they're taking care of their grandparents and they have to go away for a while, and you're not necessarily like that. You can't have the relationship in the way you want, but if you have a strong connection, if you if you feel bonded to that person, then you find ways to make that work, in my opinion.
Yeah, so my perspective was a little different in terms of defining compatibility, because your definition of compatibility is like all these things in life lining up or whatever.
Right.
But my perspective on compatibility was more along the lines of like values and belief systems and goals and where you're looking to go in your future and stuff like that. And I think that it's the balance with it shifts, but it's almost like a 50-50 thing. I think you need both of them because the connection kind of keeps you there, but the compatibility also is like almost a catalyst as well, like things being in sync or being able to work in tandem. Like that's also important as well, because otherwise you got a connection but you have all this resistance or stuff that you're fighting against. And
what comes first?
The connection comes first. But if you don't have that compatibility,
I don't even want to know if you're compatible if
working,
ain't no connection. If I'm not connected to you, I don't even care about nothing else.
Right.
True. Yeah.
If there's so many other forces working against you,
it
makes it that much harder.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that connection might not sustain you past that if compatibility isn't solid either.
I agree with that, but he said more important. Connection is more important.
So you guys maybe think what the definitions are, and I always like to look up definitions. I'm very I major in English literature, so I always look up on the meaning of words. So compatibility, so I looked it up, and compatibility, it means a state in which two things are able to exist or occur together without problems or conflict. I think when it comes to relationships, I think that's being unrealistic, because we are going to have disagreements, and sometimes problems going to arise or come up. And so it's like, are you able to, so basically it's saying, are you able to be with that person in the relationship? If we're talking about relationships, are you able to exist with that person, be in the same room with them without any problems? I don't know. And in the relationship sense, I think that's being unrealistic though. What do you think when it comes to compatibility?
I mean, I think it's like from a relationship, it's like how smooth can it be?
Okay.
It might not be. It might not be like exactly like that. And that is again why connection is important, because when it does get bumpy or when you do feel resistance, you need to have something that's going to keep you there and make you want to work through that. But you definitely do need compatibility. I'm not saying it's not important. You can't just have connection, because connection without compatibility can lead to.
Because I think yes, you're going to have difficulties in relationship. There's always going to be stuff that you're going to have to work through. But for instance, like if your life goal is to, you have a job and you move every 2 years or something like that, and your partner is all about stability and staying one place, building a life there instead of moving around, that's not compatible.
Right.
Like that's a force. Is you always going to be bumping heads with that until you guys are able to find some kind of compromise. So that's what I mean with
you can't. Sometimes you have, and this is why compatibility is important, because sometimes you do have connection and there are different life goals and life circumstances and you guys can't meet and make that relationship work. It doesn't mean that there wasn't a connection. There just wasn't, there wasn't compatibility. So you do need both. I just feel like, because there are people that also get together because they're compatible, right? Like, they're close by and,
that's why I say I think both are equally important.
But they don't have any connection, right? And those are the relationships I think that fall apart as well, because they realize like I'm not in this because I like this person. I'm in it because.
But I mean, what does that say about arranged marriages? A lot of arranged marriages last.
Yeah, but they also be doing wild stuff. So.
I mean, like for me, my opinion is it's equally important, that connection and the compatibility, because one without the other, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sustain you.
65-35.
Okay, sir.
Wait, Kai, 65 for connection, 35 for compatibility? That's what you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm going.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I respect that.
You know me, I gotta go percentages.
What do you think? Are you what's your opinion, or who you agree with, or you disagree?
Oh man, connection is, I think, most important. And then as far as being compatible, you can go off of that. You know, first you got to see if you got a connection. Then are we compatible though? You know, I don't know if one is more important than the other. I think it's an order to it. So the connection is first. You find out you got the connection. Okay, now are we compatible? Are our lives compatible with how we do things? You know,
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So last season, me and John talked about our principles in our relationship, and that was episode 10. Yeah. And we want to ask you guys, what are your principles for your relationship? We have 21. So
all right. So here, can you remind us, because your viewers might know, but give us a quick rundown of what your principles were, because we were like, what are our principles? Like, we're sitting there like, do we have principles?
Yeah. So
trust,
respect,
you know, conversation.
Yes. Compromise.
It was a compromise.
Compromise.
Honoring each other. Accountability.
Accountability.
As far as like when you know you did something wrong, you apologize for it. Without saying, I'm sorry, but you know, there's no but. If you did something wrong, you did something wrong. You know.
Or some other one for having fun.
Yeah, fun. We make sure we push each other.
Motivation, motivating each other.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. Okay, that's a few.
Yeah,
you guys.
Y'all got a whole match.
Actually, I should have put up a list. We have a whole list of
commandments. They got a
whole list.
A whole scroll.
Yeah, it goes like this.
Right.
Just give us a few. You don't have to give I
think definitely communication, honesty and transparency, and what else?
Because see, to me, right, that's kind of like our foundation, right? Because if we can be honest and we can communicate, then we can figure everything else out. Like that's kind of those are our two main pillars, right? If I'm honest and we can communicate well, I can tell her like, all right, you know, we need to have some more fun. You know, we need to spend some more time, or I got to stop eating. She could tell me like, stop eating so much fast food. Learn how to cook something for a baby.
And accountability too as part of that, because like you said, I think it's really important to be able to say, yo, I messed up, or I'm sorry. And you know,
it's also important to be able to hear that.
Yeah,
because a lot of times people you feel like you might feel attacked, right? Like if she said to me like, you know, I don't think you're spending enough time learning about pregnancy, right? Like, you know, she's going through pregnancy and she says to me, I think I want you to spend more time. I could be like, well, I am doing that, but instead I should just listen to her and be like, okay. At most I could say, well, what would you like me to do? Right. You know, what would you like me to do? How can I address this for you? How can I make that better for us? And, you know, so with accountability, it's also important that your partner is willing to be held accountable, because that can, you know, if in the wrong way, that can cause arguments with some people. So
yeah,
definitely.
So accountability.
Definitely.
But yeah, for me at least, I mean, my two main pillars are honesty and communication, and then from there, I view everything as like.
I think also an unspoken one that we have is supporting each other.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Definitely.
And
well, you've mentioned that a lot. You always say
support looks different. Like he's not the type of person that always needs like words of affirmation and stuff like that, because he's like, you know, his own being. But I am someone who does need that feedback sometimes. So he's able to do that for me. My support for him, sometimes he just appreciates like small gestures, you know, making a sandwich or
sandwiches be rocking. Those sandwiches be
stuff like that.
You make me a good sandwich. Oh, the whole day's better.
That's cute.
So for y'all relationship,
oh, this is perfect with what they talk about sandwiches, right?
with your guys' relationship, so with honesty and you guys said, Nikita, you said supporting one another, like what's like if you could pick out like one thing for your guys' relationship that like really like glues it together, is like the foundation of it, like what would that be?
What's the main ingredient for your relationship?
Your face. That's what I like. The main ingredient, I think, is I want to say creativity.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like we're like we've done so since we've been together. We've done so many projects. We're so invested in each other, right? And I know that I think we're going to eventually talk about how our business, like how we work, but it's not even business with us.
Right.
Like we're just doing all these passion projects, and through that, like we become so enmeshed, and
in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
Unhealthy.
Yes, but because like I'm helping. We created SKYNS. We're doing music together.
Right.
She started doing meditations,
like a meditation guide, and then he works with the company that
even how we got there, right? So we got together, and it was like the start of the pandemic, and she was, staying in my area,
right?
And I was working on my music project, my solo project, but when the pandemic hit, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do another project called Saturday Night Chakra to try to help people find some peace since we were all in quarantine. I thought that would be better for us.
And I encouraged him to do it because, it was suitable. Like people needed it.
Right. And I asked her to write affirmations and write some words of encouragement. And that was really like the launching pad for her whole meditation career now. Like that's kind of what she's doing. That's where her focus is. That's where her brand is heading. And she's working with the Knowledgeverse, which is an excellent space. That after that project, that's how we connected. And then I became an advisor in music, contribute with that same organization. Yeah. So, we just work together on so many levels. Like, I help her with her videos for that stuff. And a lot of it is supportive, right?
Yeah, and then when he's also doing the videos, he always calls me like, does this font look good? This is just like different. It's like playing off of each other's strengths as well. And knowing each other's weaknesses in certain creative capacities. So yeah.
Right. It's it's important. I think that's partially I think that's important to me and why we work, because I'm kind of a whirlwind of creativity. Like everything I'm doing is
a lot all the time.
I'm doing a lot all the time. I'm constantly making stuff in different capacities, whether it's music or videos or content or graphics or advising on how to do so, she kind of hopped in there with me, and I really appreciate her perspective, her ideas, and her and her talent. She tried to tell me she wasn't a lead singer, which obviously is not true at this point.
I heard your voice. I was like, what? Girl? Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember when you said that.
So common.
So she said that my sister, who I produced her music and stuff, like, we went to her, one of the first, that's where you met my mom and my sister. We went to her show. She had a show in DC, and you have family that's in that area. My sister had a show in DC. So we met up there, and I brought her to the show, and we were sitting there, and I heard her singing. I was like, okay, you can sing that. And she's like, no, not like that. I couldn't do that. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think you might be able to. She's like, I'm not a lead singer. She's like, I can sing harmonies or background.
Yeah.
That's what she told me. And I was like, nah, we gonna see what's up. But yeah, that's where, she met the family there. And then, months later, I was like, let's make some music. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And she could be a lead singer, and she's doing it. And,
Nice. Yeah, actually, as you can see, me and John, we started our podcast last year in May. And with the whole knowing your partner's strength and weaknesses, that's what happened with us, and we learn each other through even the podcast. And also, it's similar about the singing. John said I have a little voice too. Actually,
you guys
never post with me singing. I can hold a tune. Okay, I'm not a singer like your sister though. Okay, but, okay, I'm not too bad. I can. But actually, John can sing. He's the singer.
I'm all right.
What? Oh, you the bomb. Don't do that. You're the bomb. You're the bomb.
I was actually excited when you told me that you were starting the podcast because I had known you from Divas and Heels, and I was happy to see that you were in a space in a relationship where you felt comfortable starting a venture like that, because to me that there's so much that goes into mixing. Some people are in relationships and don't even want to put their partner on their social media, so to create a brand to create a brand where you're now working with them and you're putting it out like that, to me that's usually a lot of times it can be a sign of comfort, and I think to create positively you need to be in a good space. So I mean that was a sign of to me, and I was happy that happened for you. When I saw that, I was like, okay,
thank you. Yes, and I'm happy for you guys too. That's how like it's so like we kind of similar in that way with the relationship aspect part of it. We working with our partners, and it's fun. Yes, mix friends and what am I saying? Mix love and business, right? Why not? Why not? You never know what
it can get. I know why people separate it. I know why they do, because it can get messy if things on either side start messing up, right? Like now, if the business side isn't going well, that can affect your relationship, right? Or if the relationship's not going well, now it can affect your business. So some people just decide to separate them, but that's not how I live life. Like I'm not a separate person. I feel like everything is connected anyway, so it's best to just have them be as connected as you're comfortable with. That's kind of how I operate. I only like to work with people that I really like. I'm finally getting to a position where that's possible, that I can kind of dictate. Like I like what you're doing. I like who you're working with, and I like your mission. So I can work with you and not just be working with anybody. So I like to work with people that I have good relationships with. So that's how I've always been. I like to do. So with the person I love, of course I'd want to work with her. And it's been fun. Like the whole SKYNS experience has been great. We just had our first like little mini appearance. We went to a skating rink for Uptown Date Night. That's a series that they're doing. They're doing like these little events for couples and stuff. You guys definitely should talk to them, because they do like some live streaming on the radio, and like I think it might be a cool thing to connect with them.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, so we were at the skating rink and they played our new single "All Right."
Yeah.
And it was so cool because that was her first time like hearing her music that she wrote, and her song that she wrote, and her voice on like big speakers in front of people, and seeing them skate. And
it was pretty cool.
Wow, that's
cool to share that experience with her.
Wow. And getting back to what you were saying, I can't even talk right now. Saying about mixing love and business, I think it goes back to connection and having that connection compatibility. Like, or you can work your way through the problems. As long as you can do that with your partner, then you're fine. You're straight. You good. You be successful together. You never know. You work your way on the top, and then why not? Why not just try it out? But I see why and it holds like fear holds people back from doing a lot of things. So don't let fear hold you back. If you want to work with your partner, just try it out.
Yeah, the funny thing was, well, maybe it's not funny, but when we first started working together, I was like, so what if for some reason like we don't work out? Like, what happens? And he was like, well, we just stop. If you want to, we just stop. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, you know, if she said I don't want to sing no more or whatever, then that would be it. We, you know, that's, you know, I don't live life in fear. You know, I want to try things. I want to explore things. If you have an urge to, you know, if you feel something inside you that you want to get out or you want to try it, I think you should try it. You know, that's what, you know, that we have the gift of life. I feel like you should experience what you can and do what you can, especially, you know, in a positive way. So, you know, when I was listening to her sing and hearing her, because like she's had musical training, like, you know, music is a part of her. Music, like, you know, is a part of her and her upbringing and something that she loves. And that's one of the things that actually bonded us. That's one of the things that first connected us too. Like, she still has CDs of mine that she stole from college. That I still.
She doesn't look like someone who's do that.
Those were some of the last messages. Remember, I was telling you we still got messages. I was like, "Hey, I'm coming up to school. You have any of my CDs?" And she just left me on red. Like, no, any CDs? I'm not answering you. So she still has. I don't know where they are, but one of the first things that connected us was music, and so it's really cool to now make music with her and explore, you know, her voice and explore what she wants to say and how she wants to make. And even the project, like, we started off saying we're just going to make like fun, like Afro house kind of music. But even that, if you listen to the project, it shifted and it started traveling more towards where she wanted it to go. Like, she starts picking different beats and saying, I like this one and that one. And, you know, so, you know, the whole thing is very interesting. And it's different from anything else I've worked with. Like, working with my sister is a lot different than working with her. Working with my boys, I had like a hip hop group. Like, that's a whole different energy. That's a whole different vibe. And, you know, I love all the experiences, you know, but this one is definitely a whole different. I want to ask her this. How do you feel working with me? Like, how has this been with you? Because we never really had that conversation.
It's been fun. I mean, I like it. It's just a creative space where I like it because it's open and free. You allow me to just like do whatever. Let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
And there's really no like restrictions. So
that was the one rule. I said, just have fun. Like, don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, fun. Exactly. That's part of our principles. Yeah, just have fun, right? And it looks like you guys are having fun. Definitely. Because I did check out the video you posted on Instagram. Looks cool.
Yeah, that's the vibe. We're doing.
I want to have fun with you guys. I want to like dance and do all that.
We're actually we might be able to make that happen because we're gonna shoot another video, and I will send you guys the info. It would be cool if you guys could come out and be a part of that one.
Yeah, the funny thing about those, like the video and stuff, is that's just us out, and Kyle just takes his camera and you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's annoying because they're all right. This is enough shots now. Let's just. But it also is like you never know when you're going to be able to use those things creatively, and then you.
I'm always shooting videos all the time.
Always. So.
And a lot of times, you know, it shows up at. You need, you know, one, it's just great to have the footage to look at to remember those times and spaces and where you were. But also, I like to use them creatively. Like, I was shooting that. We had talked about doing a group, and I was like, we're shooting a music video now. And she was like, what? We were like, in the scenes we see us dancing, she was like, what are we dancing to? I was like, I don't know. We hadn't even made the song yet. Like, the song that we put that video out for, like, when we were shooting those scenes, that song wasn't even made.
Right.
So,
oh, wow. It went perfect with the song. I thought it was with the song.
Yeah.
It was.
We were just out there beatboxing, just.
Yeah.
Just dancing.
That's so fun. So cool.
But yeah, so I'm always shooting stuff, and I know sometimes everyone gets annoyed, but later everyone likes it. They're like, "Kyle, you got that footage from you got that clip from when we went here?" I'm like, "Yep, I do," even though y'all didn't want me to shoot it.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. So since you know you guys have a business, you know, with the you have the the music group.
Mm-hmm.
And so who is responsible for what in your group? How do you manage that?
So I am responsible for writing and singing. And then he's responsible for everything else, production.
Yeah. So I do
production,
all that.
But also remember doing like filming and photography, everything that is.
If you see me on there,
him, I do the video, I do the photography. So
which she's gotten like, I know she's very proud of how far she's come. She's become a very decent videographer and a really good photographer.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
nice.
We're
Cool.
still working on it. We're bringing the video up, but her photography is getting top notch. But yeah, in terms of making music, yeah, I just that's kind of what my background is. Like, so I handle all the production, the mixing, the mastering, and anywhere there's gaps, I kind of fill in. And I have to write a little verse, I'll write a verse. But most of the songwriting and song direction and the melodies, that's all her.
Right.
So
cool.
I kind of create a canvas for her to paint on. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's a good mix right there. That's very good. Very good. I'm glad to hear that. I love it. I love to see it.
So like with Kyle, like with being like going into like the music industry and everything. So how would you say to anybody else out there, like if you have to be around the opposite sex a lot, how can your partner like truly trust you? How do you guys like really work that out?
Yeah, especially since you work with Divas and Heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my approach, like I always knew he was working with Divas and Heels. It was never a problem for me. He's always transparent with me. Like if somebody gets a little fresh with him at the class or something, he lets me know and stuff like that. But I don't really have a problem with him working with the opposite sex. I mean, he does videography in one of his businesses, so sometimes things can get really intimate if that kind of job comes up. My mindset is, especially now that we have a child on the way, I'm not going to be blocking the flow of the cash. Like, there's very little that I have a problem with, right? So
I think a lot of this has to go back to how we met as well. So you got to remember, our early conversations was me just telling her how wild I was being.
Right.
So she knows that the capability is there, and she also knows that I tell her, like I tell her what's happening. I tell her what I'm thinking. I tell her what's going on. So there's a level of trust. Like she trusts me. I trust her. We're open, and I'm not a jealous person. I've never been a jealous person. I don't mind, if, a guy.
I'm not going to say that I don't get jealous. I do, but I'm not, my jealousy is not like extreme or anything like that. Right. And I sometimes I don't even tell him if I'm feeling jealous, because for me, that's something that I have to work through. That's not something that I'm going to put on him, because he literally isn't doing anything for me to be jealous of. So I know that that's like, all right, you're just feeling a little bit of jealousy, and that's not his responsibility. That's just something you have to work through. But I don't have a problem with him working with the opposite sex. He's very transparent about what happens on set. A lot of the times he wants me to be there.
Yeah, I always invite her. It's always open. She could always come.
And that works.
So the key is transparency, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's really the key. I leave my I know some people don't want to share that's one of those things on social media. Could you share your passcode with your partner?
Yeah. That's the question right there. Would you? Yeah, would you? Actually, that's a question. Would y'all share?
I leave my phone with her all the time.
He never remembers, but he should know it, but he never remembers it.
I think I know it. I don't know. Don't give it to me. Don't let me do it now. Don't forget. But the thing is this though, I don't feel the need to check. Like I have no need to. I don't have that desire or that worry, that anxiety. I don't have any of that don't necessarily need to check. And she knows my code. She's never checked it that I know of. She might have. I leave it with her all the time, but
no,
yeah.
I don't, because I was in a relationship where I had like this little spidey sense, and I went through his phone and I found what I was looking for, right? And I don't think that if I go through Kyle's phone, I'm gonna find, something untoward, because he's very forthcoming with stuff. If he gets a DM or something like that, he'll let me know. But I never want to be in that headspace where I feel like I need to be going through anybody's
That's my
phone,
thing.
because once you get there, the trust is gone. Like it's basically over. You just looking for crumbs right there to just to substantiate what you already know, and just to prove it, and you already can feel it or whatever.
Yeah, if I feel the need to go through your phone, then I don't trust you.
Right, the trust is
I
gone.
can't trust you, and now why am I in this relationship? It's no longer healthy.
Right.
So,
yeah.
If somebody, if they feel the need that they like, let's say somebody's out there listening, and you're not necessarily insecure, but you just know, like, when you have a feeling when somebody's, just playing you, pretty much. Like, what would you say, like, once you feel like you gotta feel like you checking somebody's phone, you should just end it right there, or you should actually have
well, I wouldn't say end it. I say you need to have a conversation with that partner, because if you're feeling the desire or you're feeling the need to check their phone, you have to ask yourself and them, can you really trust them? Is there trust in this relationship? Why are you feeling that way? Is the question you should be asking. And I think that answer, you maybe it is your own insecurities. Maybe it is something that happened from your past. Oh, maybe your partner or isn't doing anything, and maybe it's something that you are. And have a real honest look at yourself, and just kind of assess, like, oh, you just got to break up immediately. That's how I operate, because if I feel like that, if I feel like the trust is gone, especially in my relationships, then I'd be like, no, it's not working. But
my perspective on it is that if you get to a point where you feel that you need to go through the person's phone to get the truth, it's not even just that the trust is gone, is that maybe the type of relationship that you had in the first place isn't one where you feel like you can totally be honest, or there's a certain level of honesty there to begin with, right? So it's like, in order for you to get this information, you don't think this person is gonna tell you, so you got to go, sneaking around to get it. And I mean, yeah, by the time you get there,
it's probably over. Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself, he said, you got to be self-reflective about it and introspective as well. Because for me, I know in the situation I was like, when I thought about it, that was basically it. Like, it wasn't in a situation that I felt there was honesty from the beginning. And I felt there was dishonesty before that. So,
but I know some people out there. So, like, to his point, there's some people out there, they come in, and that's like a big, they might have an argument like on week 2, like somebody might be like, yo, let me see your phone. Let me see what you've been talking. And like, again,
can't relate.
Yeah, that's not how, I don't think that's what a good relationship looks like. But you should ask yourself why you want to do that. And what are you expecting to see? Like, what are your expectations? Like, some people don't want any DMs or communication with anyone from the opposite sex, or, are you liking certain pictures, or, there's like, there's a whole different array of things that are important. And that is where, again, communication is key with your partner. Cause like, maybe some things that you might think is okay. Like, you might be like, I'm just
boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta communicate about what your boundaries are, what your non-negotiables are, deal breakers and stuff like that. Because what may be cheating for one person might not be cheating for another person. Right. So
it might just hurt someone's feelings.
Right.
Like, I like a lot of stuff on TikTok, and she'd be like, I show her everything. Sometimes it just be girls. Like I'm like, oh,
okay. So you like the silhouette challenges? I bet.
I like a few. I've seen a few of them things. I see them. Well, but I show them. Like I'm not trying to hide it. It's not like like.
Well, that's good. You show them.
I'll show her.
That's good because most guys don't. I don't think guys would do. Most guys wouldn't show.
Well, she's like the thing. As a reason, it's not that I'm showing her like, oh, look what I like. It's just I like to share what I like on TikTok. But like that's one of my things. Like I just like to. I share all the things. So I'm just sharing like all the funny things, and I'll be scrolling, and it'll be like a silhouette challenge will pop up. But she knows I like that stuff, and she doesn't mind. But if she said, she was like, I don't like that you like that stuff. It makes me feel a certain way, and I wouldn't like it. We could have that conversation. But she doesn't mind. And I encourage her to get a TikTok as well. She made my TikTok our TikTok. She always says, even though she don't be on there.
Did you post them? You post them on Instagram, right? I think y'all have. I think you had Kyle. I think I've seen some. Yeah, there's some of them funny.
We do some funny skits on TikTok sometimes.
Y'all seem like a ball of fun. It's cool. So to end this, to maintain, from your guys' perspective, to maintain a healthy, successful relationship is what you kind of answered the question. So it's just being honest and having communication. That, am I correct? Or you have anything else to add?
I mean, you gotta have fun. I mean, you gotta make sure that you're having fun, and we're always we're always trying to find new ways to have fun and do things that we enjoy and do things that we both love and share what we love with each other. She found a love for plants, and now there's plants everywhere. So I have to learn about that. But I share like my TikTok. I share, we share our love of music.
Yeah.
So we share what we love with each other, and we do things that are fun with each other. And of course, honesty and transparency and communication. I think those are not only necessary for romantic relationships, but for all your relationships.
I think being flexible too.
Yeah.
Because we've had, especially now that I'm pregnant, we've had to make some adjustments that aren't always fun. Right? Trying to find stuff to do and still be safe in a pandemic. It's been a little challenging because things that we risk doing when I wasn't pregnant, I personally am not. I'm gonna do now, exposing myself,
exposing the baby,
right? To unnecessary risk, of getting. So it's just being flexible and being able to adjust and adapt. It takes
and enjoying the journey, part of being flexible is I'm enjoying the ride with her. It's not necessarily where we're going. It's just we're on this ride together. Let's see what happens. So that's kind of what I feel like. I don't know if that's yours, but that's kind of in my mentality. I feel like that's yours, but we're just seeing what happens and enjoying, the moments and enjoying the experiences. And
that isn't to say that we don't have
that's the work.
Landmarks that we want to hit or goals that we want to reach or whatever, but instead of just focusing on getting to a point, enjoying the journey along the way. Right. Because sometimes you can miss it, looking at the other stuff, you can miss the moments. Right.
Yeah. Just trust the process, right? Enjoy the journey, have fun, and gotta have fun.
Yeah.
Right? Because life, we all learn, we're all learn last year, especially last year and this year, even that life is too short, and that you don't want to have regrets. Just live the fullest and try new things. You
want to try new things, and you want to do it with the people that you love and care about. Yes. I do think that in a lot of ways, the pandemic has helped. Some people figure out what is important in their priorities of their life. You learn who's really important to you, who's really in your circle, who's really necessary for you to have joy. And and a lot of that, that helps you focus on what's really important in your life and what you should be spending time doing and spending time with. So that's a lesson that, I've learned, and, I want to, we try to do as much as we can together. I'm always telling her to come with me everywhere.
Oh. Wow.
Wow.
So where can everyone follow you guys? Your Instagrams? What's give us the info.
So my Instagram is IAM Ingram, KINGRAM. Our group is SKYNS Music, which is SKYNS Music, MUSIC. And yours?
And I am Lanomrah, LANOMRAH, on Instagram, YouTube.
Mm-hmm. And subscribe to SKYNS Music on YouTube and watch our first video. Just came out Friday. It's called All Right, and it's kind of really what we've been talking about. It's about being all right and finding ways to live in love in the midst of a pandemic, and finding ways to enjoy life with the people you care about.
And you can find our music wherever you stream.
Yep, just search SKYNS, SKYNS.
That's SKYNS with a Y.
Y, yeah.
Got you.
SKYNS with
sounds
with Y. Well, I'm excited for what's to come from you guys in the future. Definitely. And I am not surprised
wishing y'all the best.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that you guys are expecting, because I just felt like that. I never met Nikita. I know how Kyle is, but I just felt like through the pictures that is something there. Like I'm not surprised. Yes.
People, they've been like, when we made the announcement, they're like, no, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, oh my goodness, like I knew it. Yeah. Either that or I was going to get married. I don't know which one was going to come. I'm just happy for you guys.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you for having us.
Yeah.
This was fun.
This is a great first podcast. Appreciate you guys extending the invite. And, we're wishing you guys the best as well and continue to grow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Thank
keep
you.
doing your thing. And I'll definitely hit you up for when we are planning the next music video.
Yes.
It's definitely so much fun. Wow. I always wanted to be in a music video too.
Well, it's gonna happen.
Yes.
So this has been another episode of
CJ Honesty.
Peace.
Bye.
Just being honest, nothing but the truth.